Okay, so we're all guilty of it, right? Scrolling through tons of images online. But do we ever really stop and think about like where they come from, or if we're even allowed to use them?
Yeah, it's really easy to forget about that stuff,
Right.
especially when, social media is all about sharing and reposting.
Exactly. So today we are going on a deep dive into the Wild West, I'm calling it, of image rights online. And we're going to be looking at an article called, well, it's a French title, Le Far West des images sur Internet. Crédit photo, droit d'auteur et bonne pratique. And that's by Wow Com Sebo. They're a French communication consultant.
Catchy title.
Yeah, it's very descriptive. It really kind of lays it all out there. And one of the things that it claims, which is a little shocking, is that like 99.9% of internet users have used images without thinking about, the actual rights involved.
Yeah, I can believe that. It's so easy to just assume that everything you find online is fair game.
Yeah, especially when you're just like, oh, I found it on Google Images.
Right, like it's on Google, so it must be free to use.
Right. But unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Nope, not at all. Almost every image online is protected by copyright, even if you don't see a little copyright symbol next to it.
And the article actually shares this anecdote about the author.
Yeah.
Who ended up having to pay a fine, like 310 euros,
Mm.
just for using an image of the Facebook logo, on a computer screen.
Oof, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a harmless image, right? But it turned out that it belonged to Agence France Presse, and they weren't messing around.
Yeah, and that's the thing with copyright. Like, even if you had good intentions, it doesn't really matter. The fact that you published it, that's what gets you in trouble.
So we're talking about, serious consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like big companies getting sued or whatever.
Right, this affects everyone.
Yeah, individuals. Like, we could be facing huge fines, lawsuits, and even like damage to our online reputation.
And it's not just about the legal stuff either, right? There's a whole ethical side to this too.
Oh, totally.
Like, imagine you spend hours, days even, working on a photo. You pour your heart and soul into it, and then someone just uses it without asking, without even giving you credit.
That's got to be, I would be furious.
It's a huge problem for photographers and graphic designers. It's not just about their ego, it's their livelihood.
And the article brings up this really interesting example of the 2024 Paris Olympics. And like, think of all the images, the incredible moments that'll be captured during those games.
Yeah, it's going to be a visual feast.
And, everyone's going to want to share those images.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that each one of those photos has a creator behind it.
Absolutely. And they deserve to be recognized for their work.
Okay, so how do we navigate this? Especially when it comes to something like the Olympics, where everyone wants to be part of the action.
Well, that's where this whole idea of fair use comes in. But it can get pretty complicated.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people assume if it's for personal use or like non-commercial, then it's automatically fair game. But that's not always true, right?
No, not always. Fair use is actually a very specific legal thing
Okay.
with specific rules. And it's not always easy to figure out.
So, for example, like, let's say I share a photo of an Olympic athlete who just won a gold medal. And I give full credit to the photographer. I'm just, celebrating their victory. Would that fall under fair use?
Maybe. It's possible. But if you used that same photo, like, on your business website without permission, then that's probably crossing the line.
Oh, okay.
So there are these 4 factors you have to think about, like, why are you using the image? What kind of image is it? How much of the image are you using? And how is your use going to affect the market value of the original image?
Wow. Okay. Lots to consider.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's social media, which adds a whole other layer of complexity.
Oh, total.
Every platform has its own rules, and it's on us, the users, to figure all that out and make sure we're using images responsibly.
Right. Okay, that is a lot to think about. And we're going to keep unpacking all of this, after the break.
Yeah.
It really does feel like the Wild West out there sometimes. So, like, where do we go from here? Are we all just doomed to posting boring text-only updates forever?
Not at all. There are actually a ton of great ways to jazz up your posts without, stealing images.
Okay, tell me more. I'm listening.
Okay, so first off, there are these things called free image banks.
Free image banks?
Yeah, like Unsplash, Pexels, Pixabay. Those are some of the big ones. They have tons and tons of high-quality photos and stuff, and you can use them for free, even for, like, business stuff.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
But how does that work for the photographers? Like, do they get paid?
It's a different model, yeah. A lot of photographers contribute to these sites to get their work out there, build up their portfolio, maybe connect with potential clients.
Right, makes sense.
And sometimes they'll have, like, paid options too
Yeah.
for higher res images or exclusive use. But yeah, it's a win-win for everyone, really. Creators get a platform and users get awesome images.
Okay, I like it. But I'm guessing there's still some rules, right?
Yeah.
Even for free image banks.
Oh yeah, always. Always read the terms of use no matter what. Some photos might need attribution, even if they're free to download.
Right. Got to give credit where credit's due.
Hmm.
But what about if I have a specific image in mind and I'm willing to pay for it?
Then you're talking about paid image banks.
Paid image banks.
Yep, like Shutterstock, iStock, those are the big names.
Yeah.
They have like a massive selection of images, and you get the peace of mind knowing that you're using them legally with the right licenses.
Okay, so we've got free options, paid options. What about channeling our inner artist?
Ha! I love that. Creating your own content is definitely the best way to make sure it's original, and you don't have to worry about copyright at all.
I mean, it could be fun, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll discover some hidden photography talent.
There you go.
Okay, so what else? What other options do we have?
Don't forget about public domain images.
Public domain.
Yeah, these are photos where the copyright's expired or it was never claimed in the first place, so they're totally free to use. For anything.
So basically, there's no excuse for stealing images anymore. We've got a ton of options.
Exactly. We're spoiled for choice.
We really are. So to make sure everyone's on the same page, maybe we can recap some of those best practices for using images ethically.
Yeah, good idea. Golden rules. Let's go.
Hit me.
First and foremost, always check the license for the image.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, take a minute to understand what the terms of use are, what's allowed.
Make sense?
And if you're ever not sure, just ask permission. Like, a quick message to the creator can save you a lot of trouble down the line.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Right, totally. And of course, give credit, be generous with that credit, attribute the creator, link back to their site, help them out.
It's about building a culture of respect. Right.
Exactly. It's about valuing creative work. Now, the article also talks about some really interesting technological advancements that could, like, totally change the game when it comes to image rights.
Ooh, tell me more. I love tech talk.
Okay, so imagine a world where every single image has this digital watermark, and it automatically identifies the creator no matter where the image ends up.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
No more accidental image theft.
Yeah.
Or those vague credit to the owner captions.
Right. Everyone gets the credit they deserve.
I like it. What else?
Well, there's blockchain too, like cryptocurrency. Blockchain could make it so that there's this, like, unchangeable record of who owns the image and how it can be used.
So it's like a digital fingerprint for every photo.
Pretty much. Makes it almost impossible to steal.
Okay, these technologies sound awesome, but I'm guessing there are still some challenges, right? Before they become, like, mainstream.
Of course, yeah. Like, how do you get everyone to use them? What about privacy concerns? And how do you integrate them with all the platforms that already exist?
Yeah, there's always a catch, isn't there?
There usually is, huh?
Hmm.
But the potential is huge. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with all this in the next few years.
Totally. But even with all this amazing tech, we can't forget that ethical image use starts with, like, our own choices.
100%. Technology can help, but ultimately it's up to us to create a culture of respect online.
So we've gone from feeling totally lost in the wild west of image rights to, like, having a map and compass. We've talked about copyright, fair use, and even the future of image protection. But what does all this mean for us, as individuals navigating this crazy online world?
Right, that's the big question.
It feels like we really unpacked a lot. We went from, like, total confusion to actually having a plan for how to use images responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. We've really demystified this whole image rights thing and hopefully giving everyone some practical tips.
And the cool thing about this article is that it doesn't just, like, dump a bunch of info on you and then leave you hanging.
Right.
It actually ends with this super powerful call to action, basically urging all of us internet users to be more, thoughtful and ethical about how we use images.
It's a good reminder that we all have a role to play in this,
Yeah.
We're not just, like, passively consuming content. We're actually shaping the whole digital world.
So how do we do that? I mean, changing the entire internet seems kind of daunting.
It starts with small steps, like really simple things.
Okay, like what?
Well, like, are we giving credit to the photographers when we share their work? Are we actually seeking out those ethical alternatives we talked about, like using those free image banks or supporting creators through the paid platforms?
Yeah, those little things probably add up to a lot, right? Especially when you think about how many images are flying around online every single day.
Exactly. Every time you choose to credit a photographer or use an image that you got legally,
Mm.
it sends a message that you value their work.
And it makes the whole system more sustainable for creators, right?
Absolutely.
It's almost like we're casting a vote for a better internet.
That's a great way to put it. And that kind of leads us to that final, thought-provoking question that the article poses.
Ooh, yeah, what is it?
What role can you play in creating a fairer digital landscape for creators?
That's a really good question. And I hope it's something that our listeners will keep thinking about,
Yeah,
even after this deep dive is over.
for sure.
Because it's not about having all the answers right now. It's about starting a conversation and changing how we think about all of this.
Yeah, we've given everyone the knowledge and tools they need. Now it's time to put them into action.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners out there, as you continue exploring the internet, remember the people behind those amazing images.
Yeah, give them credit, support their work, and be mindful of the choices you make.
Because at the end of the day, building a more ethical and just digital world starts with each of us.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And on that note, that's a wrap on our deep dive into image rights in the Wild West of the internet. We hope you found it informative, maybe a little empowering, and hopefully even inspiring.
Thanks for listening.
Stay curious, stay ethical, and keep scrolling responsibly. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.